Welcome to Raw Dog Game Reviews. This is the Raw Dog speaking. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you my raw, off the cuff review of a game I've recently played. I give some pros, I give some cons, and that's it. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. And let's go in raw, baby.
Okay, so this time we're talking about Alan Wake 2. Again, because I want to talk about the DLCs. And the DLCs were awesome. To get this out of the way, I'm talking about the Night Springs DLC and the Lake House. I'm putting this together. Now, my footage is just of the Lake House. I used my Night Spring footage earlier during the Game Awards video that I made. And I also was only using what's her name? The waitress. I was only using the waitress video from that. But anyway, so we'll talk about the Lake House and the Night Springs one. Now, if you remember my review from Alan Wake, I love this game. This game was amazing. I'm a big fan of Alan Wake 1. I was following it. I'm so happy that they made Alan Wake 2. Now, I was not aware that Control was part of the series until way after. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and play Control now that I've finished Alan Wake's DLC and done things and opened up some time in my schedule. So I haven't played Control yet. I'm going to. But anyway, let's talk about Alan Wake's the DLCs. So first, let's go ahead and talk about the Night Springs. Now, or we'll talk about the DLCs as a whole for pros and cons, but I'm also talking about them a little bit individually of what I liked and what I didn't like. So, pros and cons. This game is just awesome. The pros are serious because the game knows how to use light and darkness in such a beautiful way. Like, it's stunning. Just the way that you traverse the darkness, the way the light affects the darkness, the way your eyes like have to readjust, the way the light refills like, your eyes, and like, oh, the game really does it in a very interesting, very awesome way. It feels so much more immersive. It feels amazing. I really love it. So definitely a pro. It's a beautiful way. Like the graphics are just amazing and stunning for it. And the graphics aren't the best graphics I've ever seen. There are some better hair movements, some better things I've seen in other games, but it works perfectly for like the atmosphere, the way they're trying to make it scary and horror game, and not too scary though, obviously, like but still give that creepy idea. And for the way, like I said, the light and dark works for the way that the light functions in the dark. It just works really well together. Now, another thing for the pros is like the music. The music is so good in this game. The sounds are really good, but the music is also really good. I love the music for Alan Wake. It's just beautiful. This is where I fell in love with Poets of the Fall, and where I will continue to love them because they're amazing. And just like all the songs you hear in Alan Wake, it's not just Poets of the Fall. There's other songs there too. I forget what the artist names and all that stuff are, but like Superhero and Superhero is a great song. Oh my god. And what's it? There's another song I really liked. Oh, but there's just so many good songs in Alan Wake too. It's it really gives every media a chance, like to showcase what games, what how you can tell a story through media. That's what I should say. It gives every media a chance of how you can tell a story through media, and I think that's beautiful because for the longest times, games were shunned as like not the proper media to use to tell a story. There's better ways, and books and TVs and movies, and games are just the shunned upon. Games cause violence within teenagers. Ugh, yeah, growing up at that time was annoying. But anyway, point of the matter is, I love how Remedy showcases that no, that games are a beautiful medium to tell a story, and this is how, and this is why. Like, oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful how they tell the story, and they use the music to tell the story. They use the visuals to tell the story. They use the gameplay to tell the story. They use everything to tell the story. And it flows so beautifully. I love Alan Wake 2. And the fact that it's a story about a story is just, it makes it, the layers are crazy. I love it. I love it so much. But anyway, what other pros can I go into? I have to say another pro I go into is like how the gun selection is good. It's not amazingly crazy. There aren't so many different weapons that it starts to get cluttered. There are just enough weapons for you to feel good, and the weapons also make sense. Like how they use light for a lot of things. So you have the flashlight. The flashlight needs batteries, and how you don't have grenades. You have flashbangs, and flashbangs are well more standardized, and also they're light based, which the creatures react to light. So there you go. And another thing you have is flares. Flares are also very simple to come by. They're not terribly military grade, and There you go. Flares are very useful, and they do the same kind of function. They have light. So I love how the game has very good purpose for like all the things you find. You're not just going to randomly finding a military grade weapon. I mean, the the pistol you're fighting is a standard pistol. You can buy that in Walmart. The the shotgun also you're fighting is a standard like pump action shotgun. And again, the rifle is another standard rifle, where like all these are very standard weaponry that you can find pretty much anywhere in America. So they're not military grade crazy things. So you're not Alan Wake, just regular author running around with military grade weaponry all over the place. That's the difference between like Resident Evil and this kind of thing, where like Resident Evil you do have a lot of military grade weapons, and like the characters are expected to know how to use them and these kind of things. Whereas Alan's an author, he's not expected to know how to use these things. He's not using military grade. He's picking up a regular old gun out of nowhere. Now, Saga, being an FBI agent, she would have some experience using different guns, but that's different. That's not the point we're getting at. The point we're getting at is that it blurs the line between military grade and like what you would expect civilians to have very well. So I think that's it works really nicely. It's really interesting that the enemies do not have like guns. They always have melee and like just their arms and like fists, or do they throw something at you? But what I mean by that is like they don't have guns, but they have power. That that's how they stack up to you. Anyway, I'm going too much detail. I want to get out of this. So the whole point of this is that the pros are beautiful. I love everything the game is going for. Let's go for the cons. So the only con I would really say about this game, the only con I would say, is that there are a lot of enemies, and the game does expect you to kill them all. And that's in the DLC and in the actual game to go along with it. Like, the game does expect you to fight them. It doesn't work off the ideas of Silent Hill or the ideas of Resident Evil, whereas you can run from them. The game does, well, sometimes you can run from them, but what I mean is, like, especially the DLC, you have to get through these areas, this gauntlet. So you have to beat these enemies. And the enemies are really spongy, and I don't like that. That I can say is a definite con in the game. The enemies are really spongy, and the fact that you don't have any melee weapon or anything, that you have to just keep shooting them is a problem because like you can and will run out of ammo, and that is frustrating, and it makes it feel like yes, I don't actually have enough ammo to do this, but I can't take precise shots because there's too many enemies running around me for me to sit and line up a precise shot. And these enemies are too fast at the same time. So I have to just kind of unload, but then I'm running out of ammo. So it has a kind of duplex in it where it kind of messes itself up. But obviously you can get through it. I did get through it. It works. But you're watching the video, you're gonna see me die a bunch of times. Oh, I got messed up a bunch of times. But anyway, the point of the matter is that the game is really good. I don't want to go. There's not too many cons. I don't think there really are that many cons. I think that's the only real con I have is that the enemies are too spongy sometimes. But and maybe the puzzles are just a little too easy. There aren't crazy puzzles. But anyway, but then again, the puzzles in the main game there were some difficult ones. Anyway, so I do want to talk about how I really liked Night Springs. Night Springs was a really fun DLC. I really enjoyed where it went from and how like yes, you saw this waitress who was obsessed with this writer, and like she goes in the back of her kitchen and just there's this a room full of guns. That just felt so hilariously cliche America that I love that. It was such a good joke. And I feel the same thing in like the Lake House. The Lake House has a lot of that same humor, a lot of that same like we know we're writing a horror story, but we're still gonna make jokes. And I love how the whole game does that, and it's really a lot of fun. Like I like how the Lake House functioned with the enemies, with like I said the painting enemies. That was crazy. Like I did not expect the painting enemies to do these kinds of things, and it just comes right out of the painting at me and it just like grabs me out of the wall. Like oh man, the game is just it has a lot of good parts to it. I love it. And I love how like the game is aware of itself in the same manner where like you find the Ed Booker, the writer, and you find him, and he's all like, "Oh, I'm in an immersive writing workshop." And she's like, "No, you're not in a writing workshop." And he's like, "Oh, so I'm in a government facility that's trying to test the powers of creativity." Yes, because that's more believable. And it's just like, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, that sounds really ridiculous. So I get what you know what? Okay, you're in a writing workshop. The point is like it does actually sound ridiculous when you think about it. It does sound ridiculous, and that's the best part. Like the game knows like they're gonna make that joke because it is a joke. Like it does sound ridiculous. I love that about it. I love how far the game will go to showcase these things. Uh, I love how I have to say the Night Spring DLC was better than the Lake House just because of the pure variety of different things you got to do. Like the waitress was fun. Um, the carnival thing was good. It was a standard, and I forget what the other one was. The other one was like the cop guy going through different worlds. The quantum break guy, and yeah, like you got to go through all these different worlds and different like different multiple realities, and there was like an 8-bit one. There was a beat 'em up. Like, oh, it was just really cool. Like I liked how many different things they did. So as I can say, like the Lake House was still fun and still a good DLC. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely more in the theme of Alan Wake, but I liked the variety that Night Springs brought to it too. I really liked the variety. So I would say that with both of these DLCs, you get a really nice feel of like how Remedy tells its stories and like what to expect from them and the whole feel of what the game is doing, what the story is doing, and where everything is going. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I don't want to go too long. So yes, Alan Wake, I want to say again from last video to this video, Alan Wake 2 is amazing. I love this game. If you like horror games, Resident Evil, Silent Hills, definitely jump on the Alan Wake train. Play the original. It was good. And I mean, like, it's not going to take up your entire life. It's not a long game. And it's worth it to understand the story and where it's coming from. So play the first game, play Alan Wake 2, and enjoy the experience. The game is really good. Alan Wake 2 is a great game. So, yeah. And that's that.
Well, that's my raw review. If you enjoyed it, you can leave a like and subscribe. And I hope to see you here next time, back on Raw Dog Game Reviews. See you later!